Success leaves clues, right? Success leaves clues. So we can learn from many people. I hope you understand that. I know you're here hearing me talk about this type of stuff. You may have some, people that you're around or some people that you watch that give you some of this wisdom. But at the end of the day, just always remember success leaves clues. You find anyone that is successful in their right. It could be anything, it doesn't have to be monetary success. But like someone that has kept a marriage together happily for 50 years, or someone that has been able to right, get good in their health, right, and stay healthy into their 70s and 80s and have no, like, not take any medication, like whatever you view as someone that's done something that normal, average people don't go off and do. It's easy to monitor, right? With a Nick Saban, you can see how many wins he has and the amount of championships he's won and the teams. But there's people around you that have levels of success as well. But you got to remember that they're going to think about things differently than maybe you think about them. Remember, in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill says, find a millionaire, do as he does, you will have what he has. It doesn't mean literally. It means find someone that's successful. Think about life how they think about it. Copy what they do. Do things the same way, and you will get the same results. So that's what we have to follow in our life. Sometimes we're not coachable. Sometimes we don't look for mentorship. Sometimes we don't seek guidance from people that are further along than you. And it's not just from an age standpoint. It's just they're further along in this area. You can take that wisdom and then apply it in your life so you don't have to go figure it out and make the same mistakes. Somebody has already gone that path. So that's why we can take information and wisdom from a guy like Nick Saban, even though none of us play football. It's still, a lot of this stuff resonates. The first thing that he says is mindset is the reason you win. We've heard that before, right? Winning comes down to how you think about it, right? I still thought today was February 12th. Maybe I was just hype on my calendar here that says February 12th, it's Rich Dad's calendar. It says getting out of the rat race, living paycheck to paycheck starts with a mindset shift, right? All of this stuff starts with a mindset shift. Winning in your life starts with how you think about winning. So, Jim Rohn quote, work twice as hard on yourself as you do on your business. Work twice as hard on yourself as you do on your job. If you know that mindset, if you're going to take in that piece of wisdom from everyone that's successful that you've heard say, hey, mindset is the key. Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react to it. Everything starts with your mindset, shifting your mind. If you know that, then are we putting time and energy there? Is that where our time and energy goes? Is growing and developing our mindset, our mental toughness. It's important. I wrote down, you got to have a vision. These are reminders, but maybe today you heard it a little bit differently, so you actually go do it. Right? I know you've heard me say you need a vision. You need to write down your vision. It needs to be plain. You need to read it to yourself every day. You need to have something that keeps you focused. I know you've heard me say it. Are we doing what we know? Because now you just heard Nick Saban say the exact same thing. Hey, this starts with a vision. You want to get successful? It starts with a vision. Where are we headed? Where are we headed? You're going to end up somewhere. You have to determine what that looks like so that you can now make the decisions necessary to get to that vision. It's about daily disciplines. It's about daily disciplines. Focusing on what are you doing today that's going to help you achieve the goals that you've set aside. What are you doing today that's helping you become the man or woman that's going to be able to live the life that you're asking for? Daily disciplines. Are you able to focus on the vision versus your circumstance? Nick Saban said that. He said the challenge is, can we stay focused on where we're headed and not focused on what's happening around us? This is where most people falter because it's very easy. It's very comfortable. It might not feel like we like it, but this is very comfortable to think about our current circumstance. What's happening around us. What's uncomfortable is staying focused on the vision, is continuing to say these things are going to happen, even though you can't see it right now. Even though it's not what your present looks like, how focused are you on your vision. These are things to work on, these daily disciplines. He said, what skills do you need to acquire to get to your goals? I think these are healthy questions you should be asking yourself. There's a vision. If you have a vision, if you've done that work at least, to say, hey, I have a vision. This is where we're headed. This is my ideal life. If I could draw it up exactly how I want it, this is what it looks like. So at least I know where I'm going. Now, backtrack. Hey, what skills do I need to acquire in order to get there? Are there some skills that I lack that are going to be needed for me to get there? Are there some emotional, some emotional intelligence, some mental toughness, some internal things that I need to acquire in order to become that person that has that life? Do I need more patience in order to build a big team and handle people and be a great leader because I'm going to deal with thousands of people? Maybe I need more patience during this season when don't have 1,000 people to lead. Maybe that's a skill I need to acquire. Maybe in my business, there's some skills I need to acquire. I need to acquire some marketing skills. I need to acquire some sales in order to get my message out. What skills will you need to acquire to get to the life that you're asking for? Make a commitment to doing the right thing all the time. We call this integrity. But doing the right thing all the time, right? Make sure that you are putting yourself in a position where daily you are doing what you know to be right. I think he said something, Nick Saban said something in there. He said every day we're going to be faced with something that we're supposed to do that we don't do, and then something that we know we shouldn't do that we got to stay away from. Every day we're posed with those decisions, those daily disciplines. Hey, there's things that I know I should be doing. Do I actually do them? If I said my health is a priority in 2026, am I doing the things necessary on a daily basis to move my health in that direction? If I said my finances, this was the year I was going to get financially independent, or my finances were going to get good, am I doing the things daily that are leading me to that place where I get my finances in order? The other side, there's things I know I should not be doing that's taking me away from the man or woman that God called me to be. That's taking me away from the destiny that I have in front of me. That's taking me away from the vision that I've written down. There's things that I know I shouldn't do. The question is, am I able to stay away from them? If I know, hey, this isn't getting me to that place, this isn't helping me grow to that, do I have the daily disciplines to say, you know what, I'm going to choose to not do that? These are reminders. None of this stuff is new. I always just remind you, are you doing the things you know? Life can be very simple because there's not a ton of things that you have to learn to do. But the key is, can you be consistent at doing the right things? This is the struggle of human life, right? Are you consistent at getting out of your own way and doing the right things every day? In our text, the 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, it talks about champions don't let feelings get in their way. You heard Nick Saban talk about it. If you've been on any type of call with me individually, you've probably heard me tell you this. At some point, you have to learn that you can't operate your life out of just feelings. Just if you feel like doing it today. I didn't feel like working out today, so I'm not. I didn't feel like making a call today, so I didn't. I didn't feel like doing these things, so I didn't do them. At some point, if you want to be successful, at some point, you want to get your life exactly where you want. You want to design your ideal life. At some point, you're going to have to do things you don't feel like doing. You're going to have to do it a lot. You're going to have to do it frequently. It has to be a habit that you just do things regardless of how you feel. Most people can't do this, or I don't want to say can't. They choose not to do this. Maybe they don't have the conversation. Maybe their feelings and emotions are so strong that they've never been taught how to manage them. Maybe their feelings are their actual comfort zone. Our feelings, we can have emotional homes, places that we go back to, not because we like it, but because it's familiar to us. When we get angry, we know what to do. Tony Robbins talks about this, that our feelings bring us a level of certainty. So even if you're depressed, you might know what it's like to be depressed because you've been depressed for a long time, because you felt it for a long time. So even if you say, I don't like it, it's comfortable to you because it's familiar to you. It's an emotional home. We allow these feelings to run our life. I don't know what it is for you, but you got to be able to identify the feelings that you continue to live in. The feelings you continue to live in, and are they getting in your way for the things you said you wanted to make happen? The things you have written down on your vision. We can't let the feelings get in the way. Here's what it says in the text. It says, people operating out of poverty, working, and middle class levels of awareness are always getting ready to get started towards their goals. The poverty class is going to find work soon. The working class is getting ready to move up from the night shift to the day shift. The middle class is going to start working on that graduate degree one of these days. All have good intentions, yet they rarely move beyond their intentions. They're always waiting and wondering when the time will be better for them to begin. They're waiting for their emotions to motivate them to action, and as a result, they become slaves to their feelings. Champions are masters of their emotions, and they know that waiting to feel like taking action is a losing proposition. They believe there's never a better time to get started than today, and that tomorrow is merely a promissory note, that any day could end up being their last. The great ones operate with a keen sense of urgency, dreaming of the future while firmly rooted in the present. Average people are smart enough and gifted enough to make their dreams come true, yet tend to wait so long to attempt anything substantial that by the time they failed enough to have learned the lessons they need to succeed, their life is over. Professional performers have a heightened sense of life's timeline, and their actions reflect. While the masses are waiting for the mood to strike them to act, the great ones start acting, regardless of whether they feel like it or not. This small distinction in their thought process makes the difference between living their dreams and dying with their music inside of them. Last two sentences, possibly the most important. While the masses are waiting for the mood to strike them to act, the great ones start acting, regardless of whether they feel like it or not. The majority of people around us are waiting for something to strike them to get going. They're waiting for a feeling. They're waiting for the time to be right. That's the masses. That's the majority of people. Again, I told you this in the beginning. If these are things that you know, but you don't apply them, we have to start working towards that. Do you often say, when I get in the mood, I'm not in the mood to work out today. I'm not in the mood to make the calls today. I'm not in the mood to have the conversation today. I'm not in the mood to deal with the people you're led by your feelings. Is that how you operate? Because if so, we got some work to do. We got some work to do where you start doing the hard things every day to say, regardless of how I feel, I'm going to do it. Don't be the masses. We're not that. If we're going off to design our ideal life, the majority of people don't do that. They just accept whatever life they have. If we're going to go off and you want your health and your finances and your fitness and your relationships and your spiritual life and your all of it to be in the right place, in the place that you want it, then we got to start acting. We got to start moving, regardless of how we feel, regardless of what we feel that day. Again, it says this small distinction. People think these aren't big things. These are small distinctions in our thought process is what makes the difference between people that go off and live their dream and people that don't. That's small. That's the difference. That's why these conversations are important, because it's easy to drift and get back into what the masses do, to get back into what society does, to get back to how we were raised and how we grew up and our peer group and our coworkers and all the people that are around us on the side that make these things seem okay, seem normal, seem like you can do that. Like, oh, it's okay. Like if you can't make those calls today, just make them tomorrow. That's okay. You got tomorrow. Girl, you need some rest. You need to do that. You need to take care. Like people comfort us. But for us that go after our dreams, that go after our goals, when you hear people like Nick Saban or anybody say this message because they've come from a level of success, it's because we've practiced doing hard things over and over and over again. The daily disciplines of like, I don't feel like doing it, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to drag my butt in that gym, even if it takes me a little bit longer today because I don't have the pep in my step. It doesn't mean I don't go to the gym. It just means it takes me an extra 20 minutes to really do it. That's okay. Every day is not going to be the same. You're not going to be at the same level of energy every day. You're not going to be in the same frame of mind every day. It doesn't mean you get to stop. It doesn't mean you get to not do it that day. That's not what it means. That's allowing your feelings, your mood, how you feel, get in the way of what your vision is. Because your vision requires daily for you to do these things. That's how we shift our mindset. It's not once in a while. It's not, I think about this way on the weekend, but then during the week, I think this way. It's every day that we get another opportunity to go after it. And that's something we got to remember. You can't let your feelings get in the way. You got to do the things you know you need to do to get to the life that you're asking for. If you're serious about getting to the life that you're asking for, I'm only talking to people that are serious about getting to the life that you want. Like I said, this goes out to the masses anyway. People can watch it. But like this conversation is if you want to get to that life, that vision, that ideal life of yours, you got to practice not letting your feelings get in the way. This quote by Bill Gove says, it's easier to act your way into good thinking than to think your way into good action. It's easier to act your way into good thinking, meaning just by doing it, you can start building momentum in your mind to think differently versus what most try to do is think your way into good action. All right, I need to plan. I need to do this. All right, I'm going to get it done. Like they're always getting ready to get started because it's in their mind. And then they never get there. Let that not be you, ladies and gentlemen. The action step for today says decide to develop the habit of not letting your feelings get in the way. Decide. It's a decision. You're not run by your feelings. Your feelings are just awareness of things that are happening around you and how you're taking it in. You can make a decision to develop the habit of not letting your feelings get in your way. Make this commitment to get started today. Continue this commitment for the next 30 days, regardless of whether you feel like it or not. Remember, habits start out as cobwebs, turn into cables. You got to start somewhere. Start today. Start this weekend with doing something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Do something this weekend where you're like, I don't feel like doing it, but I'm going to do it anyway. That is building a muscle in you. When you tell yourself, I don't want to, but you do it anyway, you're going to learn how to override your own thinking, your own feelings for the greater good, for your vision, for the vision God has placed in you. That's what you're headed towards. But you got to practice that because we can give in to ourselves very easily too and say, you know what, today's not the day. It's raining outside. It's 2 degrees outside. I'm not going out today. Today's not the day. I don't feel like it. I'm gonna stay under these covers. Let's not make those choices, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue to grow, learn, and become the man or woman God called us to be. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. If no one tells you, I'll always tell you because you need to hear it. You need to know, right? You deserve all the things you're thinking about, all the vision, all the stuff. It's just going to require you to become a different person. It's going to require you to do real work on yourself so that you become the different person that has the capacity to handle that life you're asking for. But it's possible. Go out and make it happen this weekend. See you guys back here on Monday. Love you guys. Take care.